good afternoon, good evening. I keep saying it and I keep saying good afternoon. Let's just say, I'm going to just say welcome back to the S.H.O.P, to the social hub of positivity, which I don't know which number show this will be, but let's hope that everyone since the last one you've heard is healthy, wealthy and wise. Today we have a member of the community and who's obviously going to tell you more of his own backstory, but as part of this wonderful organisation that I talked about in previous episodes, Avon Needs Trees, or ANT. It's good, isn't it? I like it. Right, Avon Needs Trees. You can see that if you ever come into Chippenham and you look in our front window, in the front window, you'll see lots of information for this organisation. But what better way to find out more about it than this wonderful person here, Peter Williams, is it?
Yes, it is. Peter Williams, yes.
What a lovely name, sir.
Thank you very much. Not as nice as yours, Ed.
Oh, you're so kind. That's never been said before. No, really, it hasn't been said before. So, Peter, tell me, what do you do generally, and what's your involvement with this wonderful
Well,
organisation?
I'm a music teacher by profession, so I teach piano. I teach in 3 schools in Chippenham. So music is quite...
Sorry, I'm looking in the camera because I want this to be really annoying for who's ever editing this to go, he's a music teacher, I didn't know this, obviously can do run an alternative.
Right, yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, I'm well aware of it. Yeah,
you do?
I do, but my involvement's always been on the fringes, so this is why we've never crossed paths before.
Wow, perfect, we can talk about that.
Anyway. But yeah, I've been doing that for 25 years, but I've also always had a sort of a passion for the environment. I mean, I grew up in Melksham, I moved to Chippenham in 1992, and I fell in love with what we know as the Marden Valley, which is the countryside, the area between Chippenham and Calne. And about 4 years ago, I was out on a cycle ride to do a lot of cycling with some friends of mine, and I came across a site at Hazelham Mill. And Hazelham Mill isn't far from the Chippenham-Calne cycle track, the old railway path. And there was a sign over there, it'd been there for a while, obviously it said for sale, 34 acres of land. And I'm quite a dreamer. I used to be quite a dreamer at school and used to sort of look out the window and sort of think of other things and what I could be doing instead of being in school perhaps, but I shouldn't say that.
Was it George Ward?
I was George Ward, yes. How do you know?
No, I'm just saying, because you did a lot of work in there at one stage.
Oh, I see, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
I thought you could tell.
No. I actually had a really wonderful time with the people, the parents and the community.
Yeah, this is a long time ago now. But anyway, so I saw the land, and 4 years ago I actually approached Wiltshire Wildlife Trust informally to see if they'd be interested in buying this land. For lots of reasons. One is to protect the landscape in the area, which is sort of, at the moment, is under a massive pressure from lots of different things going on. But secondly, always loved the idea of planting trees. About 10 years ago, I was involved with Friends of the Earth, and we've got an acre of land near Castle Coombe that we planted up woodland. And I sort of got the taste of it then. Doing that. Anyway, cut long story short, I also heard about Nikki Jones. Nikki Jones is an environmental activist in Bristol, and she was putting together a charity. It was, the start of a charity to buy land to plant trees for permanent woodland, because a lot of thoughts were gone into, do you lease land and plant trees? But there's no guarantee there that it's going to last. Because the landowner could sell the land, they could change their mind. In 20 years' time, those trees could come down again. So she suggested this. Now, we got together with 3 other local people. Nick Murray is a local councillor in Chippenham. We read a
lot about him, actually. He's very active.
Absolutely. He's brilliant.
Fair play to him.
So, there was a guy called Nick Self, who's Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, and a lady called Harriet Alvis, who is part of Bristol Avon Rivers Trust. She's now in West Wales Rivers Trust now, but we were the sort of founding trustees. We met on site to look at the site in January 2019. By June 2019, we'd informed the charity was up and running. That takes a lot of... I thought, do a charity, it'd be fine, but actually there's so much paperwork involved and admin and all sorts of... There's so many boxes you've got to tick to do just to get that far, to get to charity status and get your bank account set up. Anyway, we started fundraising, and 4 or 5 months later we'd done a crowd fund, and we got about £40,000 from that, and then things took off. And to cut long story short, in August last year, 2020, we bought 34 acres of land between Chippenham and Calne, and that was what we call our S.H.O.P site. So in a nutshell, but the 3 things we've got it for is to reforest, get trees back in, carbon sequestration, which has taken me about 3 years to try and practice to say that word. Sequestration. I'm also a tree trustee, which has taken me a long time to say as well.
Try to say when you had a few of whatever you might be
But
doing.
the other thing is we've got flood management. You know, we get a lot of flooding in the winter time. It's happening now actually. So trees slow down the flow of water coming into the River Marden, this is alongside the River Marden. It then flows into the Bristol River Avon. So actually, from a flood management point of view, it's not just helping to people in Chippenham, it's everything along the River Avon all the way to Bristol.
Yeah.
And that's why we called Avon Needs Trees, because it's the River Avon catchment area.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge area. So the area of land we're looking for is within anywhere between Bristol and perhaps Devizes and north up to sort of South Gloucestershire down to North Somerset, really. So it's a huge area. But this has just happened to be a fantastic site that we've got. Biodiversity is our third big project we're trying to do. And there's one field, which is probably about 4 or 5 acres, which is we're going to leave to rewild it. It's just completely rewilding it.
So wild sort of meadow type.
Yeah, I mean the variety of stuff up there is incredible. We've got 10 acres of existing ancient woodland, or semi-ancient woodland. We've got the water meadow, which is alongside the River Marden. You've got 2 huge paddocks that we're currently planting in small little groups. We've actually just finished planting about 7,000 trees, which we did, even under COVID restrictions. We're just doing small groups, getting out there. I've just spent 2 days there, and it's great fun. It's my favourite part of getting involved. But I just feel that we're actually making a difference. We're actually, you talk about global warming, we talk about biodiversity and the things how it's changing, but actually to have something physical and get your hands stuck into it, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So these are indigenous trees, I'm presuming. What make of trees are you putting in there?
Well, there's all sorts, because the Woodland Trust have been fantastic. They did the initial tree planting scheme. They've provided all the trees for us through the Forestry Commission as well. And so there's at least 12, 13 different species of trees. That was a big debate as well, because you've got to, the temperature of the climate is warming. Are they going to survive in 50 to 100 years' time? There's a lot of debate. Do we go for more into the Mediterranean type of trees? But there's a good mix in there. And actually, we're also doing a lot of research as well, which is combined with that. The rewilding area is being studied by one university who's going to look into the effects of, if you just leave a field on its own. I don't know all the technical details really, but we've also got Bristol University who are studying a particular section for carbon sequestration, and how good, or how fast you can sequester carbon.
Right.
So.
Is there an idea to do any coppicing? Have you talked
Yeah,
about?
we've done that, because actually forest schools is a big part of what we can do.
Yeah.
I think education's a big thing. It's not just about planting trees. When I first got there, I thought it was going to be like that, but it's become huge, because we've got the old canal goes through there. We've opened up the towpath, so because it's good access to where we got. So we've got a lot of history. I love history as well, by the way.
Perfect.
So we've got the history of the old canal. We've got.
And I like singing songs about old canals. One by Shane McGowan. No, it's not by Shane McGowan. Is it? What's it called? Dirty Old Town is I Met My Love by.
Oh right, yeah.
And Brendan Behan.
Yeah.
The old triangle, the Royal Canal. I'm not going to talk about that in the songs anymore, but carry on. You've got, so there is an idea about doing this forest school, which we're very interested in as an organisation. So we're always working alongside other organisations, either residential places, to allow our young people, as one of our projects, to experience, and you said nature in all its sort of diverse and biodiverse forms. But the idea for our cultural exchange of going to Croatia and Ireland, we were looking to do a carbon offset.
Right.
So is it? And you said about is it the wildlife who were giving away trees in Wiltshire Wildlife?
Oh, the Woodland Trust.
Woodland Trust.
Woodland Trust. Yeah.
Are they still giving away trees?
They do. Yeah. Every year they give away trees, and you anything from a small tree pack that a primary school could use.
Yeah.
Right up to, like, we've got 9,000 trees and shrubs that we've got.
So if we wanted to plant some, say if we wanted to get some trees, could we come to your place and find a place to maybe sort of plant them?
Well, yes, yes and no, because the tree plant. Well, it's in the middle, because we will, the tree plan is very meticulous about how we do it.
And you've got
but you do lose. I think it's 25% of what you plant the first year. So there's going to be a lot of thinning out. So definitely in the future, I would say because it's and there's probably going to be some spaces that we still need to fill. So it's quite good to do it in stages first of all, because you've got you've got a couple of trees which are 5-10 years. older than the other ones. You know, it's a good balance. You know, because we're creating a woodland. The other thing that was quite nice is that we've got hazelland wood, which is what we've bought, but the other side of the valley is hazelland wood as well. And what happened until 1945-ish, it was one complete woodland, and what we're doing is we're filling in the gap again and making it back into woodland. So it becomes. I mean, I just one of my interests again. This is one of the things I was looking out the window and dreaming about when I was a school kid. Is Pewsham Forest. And the forest that used to go from, actually the Marden River was the boundary of Northern, and it went all the way down to Melksham and just south of Symington. So we kind of, like, for me, we're sort of like reforesting the forest really, which was there, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
We did a project with Oxenwood. We used to do residentials there every year, sometimes 3 a year, up until, I don't know, quite recently. But we did a project where we helped build a roundhouse.
Oh, brilliant.
And most of that was from the coppice wood, hazelwood, which our young people helped to cut down and to prepare, and then to actually bend into shape and what have you. And then over the years we got to use that. What's the chances of doing something like that, he said?
I think, to be fair, since we got involved, there's been so many offspins of this. I think, you know, why not? Because
good educational place, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Roundhouse that is
there's
functional with
34 acres. There's a lot of space there. So I wouldn't say no, not at all. I mean, it's
obviously it's a long-term plan. But I'm saying that sort of, because you've talked about history. And for me, it's part of it, and part of our process is looking at how human beings have interacted with their nature, because there's common misconception, isn't there? If you think of organisations, which are obviously tremendous organisations, don't get me wrong, Friends of the Earth, it sounds as if the Earth needs us, as if we are somehow not attached. Now, for me, we are a part of nature, not apart from nature. So everything that we do, all that toxic soup that was put underneath the crust all those years ago, and all those trees and everything turned into fossil fuels, etc., is now been put back out into the biosphere, etc., which has had a tremendous negative effect. So the humanity's history with nature and the idea that it's our habitat that we're destroying, it's not about friends of the Earth, it's actually friends of the humans, isn't it? Earth will survive.
Well, you're right, absolutely, and I agree with that.
So for me, the more that we can allow our young people, and possibly at this time more than any time in history, to actually interact with nature. We've got an allotment, and the allotment society around here is actually very good. So we're fortunate, but there'll be young people that won't have that access to see how food's grown, but also to see how we as human, as a species, have survived throughout history. So doing things like roundhouses and different types of shelter, which of course leads on to all sorts of stuff about construction of houses and the need for houses and roads and what have you. Is what you're doing threatened by any of the upcoming?
Not directly, no, but it's not going to be far away. You know, you've got to imagine that, you know, once that road's in.
Once the road's in, you think it's going to be built? I don't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, can we influence the decision? I thought it's to me, it sounds like it's been made already.
Oh no, that's how they start. I think what's happening now, and I think what obviously will play out over the weeks, with all sorts of localised democratic processes, as well as individuals getting involved at a local council level, a parish council level. I think that there's definitely been a kind of pivot or a crucial point where people have suddenly gone, wait a minute, we've allowed this type of development, this type of process, this type of lack of democracy at a very localised level. Anyone listening to this, even in different countries, will probably have an opinion about how their local democracy is, if they have democracy, if we have democracy. Anyway, the point being is I don't think that the roads will be. I think that what will happen is that the people who are currently in charge of councils, a lot of them are going to change.
Right.
A lot of them are going to change. More enlightened, not that they're bad people, it's just that that's the old game. That old game ain't going to work. Party politics, people.
I don't want it to happen, but it's to you know, the wheels are in motion. I mean, they've got a lot of money, didn't they, to promote this thing, didn't they?
We're going to need so much more. For young people to catch up emotionally and psychologically on unbelievable trauma that has been visited on them. And I'm not going to make any secret of this. We worked simultaneously in the sustainable development arena for 23 years. So with big companies, with big businesses, trying to advise them, and government, national and local government, looking at purely Agenda 21 rationale back in the day, but sustainable development in its every type of application, in massive paper mills, in petrochemical companies. I've been to national government, to the Home Office, talking about community cohesion, and actually what I've been able to witness working up and down the country is there's a massive need for localised people like yourself to get involved. You kind of like getting your hands dirty, but it's actually more than that, isn't it? You've had to tread through treacle, no doubt, to go through the just to get in the legal aspect of it. But for the reasons that you want to do it, this is why I think people need to get involved with and understand your history of how they as local people can get involved. I do think that local democracy is changing, and I think that...
I do hope so, yeah.
Well, after the plague, and there isn't much difference, after the plague, before the plague in England there was feudalism, after it wasn't. After the First World War, lots of things changed. Massive things are going to change. Absolutely. People are going to realise that we need to invest in people as opposed to policies and politicians who are usually aligned to big corporates and business. They're not in the enlightened, vested interest of humanity. So if this was to be perceived as some sort of battle or a challenge or a war, we all need to be, and I don't advocate any of those things, particularly not violence, but the idea, like yourself, of people getting involved on a local basis, not just to protect the view, we're talking about protecting the biodiversity, but the well-being of our children, the health and well-being of our children.
I think
that's a long, tangled thing I've just said, but pick it out there, people. Pick out the bits I'm saying, because it's people like you that are actually active in a really proactive, positive, because I think as soon as you said about Nikki being an environmental activist, I think some people at home will be going, oh, mate, I've heard about activism. What does it mean? It means someone who's getting off their behinds and doing things. So,
absolutely.
Do you need more volunteers? What's the...
we have got a lot of local volunteers who are helping us out. In fact, because of COVID, we're restricted on how many we can get there. We are turning people out at the moment, but we do need people. There's a lot of the admin we need help with. We've got to do interpretation boards when we get down there. We've got and we've got the long-term management of it. So we need local guardians to look after it. Almost like like they used to have in the original forest, like the verderers and all the guys who used to manage the forest. So yes,
history of forestry.
Yeah. So,
as a way to look, that'd be great. A nature trail that also looks at how ancient some of the plants are and the trees, and the idea of who did that throughout history is a beautiful idea.
What I'd love to do, and I'm not sure Hayton's a good place for it because it's quite restricted, it's quite difficult to get to be fair, but it's we have another site in mind which is still currently in the process of happening, but where I'd like to do a medieval day, because what we can do, because I'd love to bring medieval music into it,
and food.
We can have archery, we can have woodcraft, like the bodges and all the rest of it. I'd love to get out and vote, one for a fundraiser, one to sort of raise awareness of, but also to get the community involved and have fun. I think fun,
mix all the
humour
good bits
work well, don't they?
Of course.
As well.
And
so it doesn't have to be too serious.
It doesn't have to be too serious, but it can be. It's in a beautiful context. It's in nature. It's good for your health. It's also good for your mental health. And this is why I'm saying about roads not being built. It's like our priorities have to change. We need to be able to invest in people's being a part of. Look at that. It's just
it's full of trees, by the way, now.
the photographs that Kevin.
Kevin Wynn.
Unbelievable, beautiful. And I think if people were to interact and use it as a place to be inspired, so having you're going to have bird observatories like hides and things.
We haven't got what we have got, because the forest schools we're setting up for them. Hopefully, once the COVID restrictions are lifted, we'll have forest schools joining us. We've got a forest schools area. We've actually got compost glues built on site. I mean, that took a lot, and also it took us about sort of 20 years. It feels like just to drag this heavy tool shed, which came in parts from a charity in Bristol. It was a charity based in the centre of Bristol, and it's full of graffiti on it, and it looks like the youngsters.
By Banksy, no doubt.
That's exactly what I was
12
saying. Yes.
£12 billion pounds.
That's right. So we don't want to scrub it off because it might still might be worth something. But hides. I mean, we've got barn owl boxes. We've had the hawk and owl conservancy trust there. We've had. I mean, and also the thing is we're going to do we've got to do a lot of engagement. So we've got things like we're going to have bat evenings, badger watches, and all sorts of things. So hides, that's been talked about. There's so many opportunities.
How about combining your bat evening with people dressed as Batman and you come as different characters and just hide in the forest and kind of play tag or capture the flag and look at bats.
There was talk about dressing as teddy bears and doing a teddy bears picnic in the woods.
That's just weird, but I don't know where
that's kind of crossing a line, isn't it?
No, it sounds like a really beautiful thing for people to be able to bring children in then. How about a teddy bear hiding teddy bears? Oh, the suggestions are endless.
Genius.
Well, no, the thing being is anything that's going to help our society, our community, to understand the value of nature in all its forms and our absolute dependency on nature. That's and I don't blame anyone for not knowing or understanding this, but I do know that there's hope because I'm not very well educated. Ask any teacher that ever had me in their class, if any of them are still alive and haven't actually gone into a mental asylum, they would say he's very hard to teach. And if I've been able to learn these things, I literally believe that anyone can. And that's not even any complicated science. It's just really straightforward. It has been masked in all sorts of smoke and mirrors, but the reality is, since the Industrial Revolution, we have been on an absolute trajectory for the destruction of our own infrastructure for us to exist within the confines of nature. Human beings, not wombats, not polar bears, not beautiful things as they are. They need to survive just because as part of biodiversity. I keep going off on this one because I'm quite passionate about it. But I try to keep my
the
head
other thing
short.
is, the fact is, the way I learned as well is that it's like history. When it's local history and it's hands-on, you can see it. I learn a lot better than talking about something that I can't see while I'm reading from a book.
One of our first ever projects was with the National Trust. Yeah. And we do so much work with them. You wouldn't believe the type of groups that we brought from London, because we work all over the country, into the National Trust properties at Laycock with the community, helping out, but learning, as you said, firsthand about the nature and the history.
I think you learn so much more, don't you?
Absolutely.
So the funny thing is,
school.
Yeah, with forest schools, you see, for years and years, it's taken them a long time to realise actually that it is good to go outside, it is to get some fresh air. And there's also those children who learn. They're just different people when they go out into the countryside and get close to nature. They come alive. You put them in a classroom with four walls, and it's completely
It's not even
different.
good for teachers to be in that context.
No,
let's be really realistic.
Right,
How we have, and I tell you, no disrespect to the people that work and have gone to Abbeyfield School at all, but this physically, I used to have done in my past, worked in prisons. Not as a guard, but doing creative workshops with inmates, which is why I understand politicians so well. But anyway, the Abbeyfield School, we went when it was just been built. Now, the fact that it was built on the site of a Second World War bomb crater that had to be exploded should have given everyone who's into any sort of spiritual karma an idea of what that might mean for the actual site. But then the school was designed, hopefully it's changed and developed, but like a prison.
Yes.
And it was apparently built by people who built prisons.
Exactly right.
And I worked in there once, and I did a project, and I said to this group of, say, disenfranchised young people, about that, and they were saying, it's very much like a prison. I said, why do you think that? Why would adults build a school that looked like a prison? And this lad, bless him, he said, so they can show us where we're going to go when we leave. And now, as funny and equally sad as that, it is actually fundamentally true that there is not about the philosophy of Abbeyfield School, the people within it and the teachers are fantastic, don't get me wrong, the pupils that go there are fantastic. Why would we subject our children and our professionals to such uninspiring environments? So the idea of forest school, just so Donna Lee, who's one of our great people at Can Do, is about to take the do the whole training for forest schools, because she's a mountain leader, so we go up and down all over the place into the environment, but totally with you on the idea of forest schools. Ever more, as a way of rebalancing people's minds now, after this pandemic, we need to get as many people, let alone the young people, out into nature.
Absolutely.
So how can, in the shortest, but okay, a lot of this is going to wait till after the pandemic.
Unfortunately, yes.
So you're doing fundraising, so we can help publicise that.
Yeah, we want to put the word out there. You know, we're still a very, very young charity.
You're looking very well for it, I might say.
Very much.
You're the first person I've met from that charity, but you're looking very well.
That's right. It's just the All Yule and the Grecian 2000.
There you go. None of that is by any palm oil, by the way. This is all sustainable, environmentally sound. Right. So anything else you want to talk about?
That's pretty much it, really. I mean, it's a very hands-on thing. You know, it's grown so fast. It's unbelievable what's happening. And the ideas that you've been mentioning today, it's the sort of thing we're trying to encompass everything. We're trying to tick all the boxes. Mainly because the National Lottery gave us a huge donation, and we're committed to engagement.
Now remember, like tax, the National Lottery is a collection of all our money, put for us to access to be able to do good things. So instead of thinking, the National Lottery have been generous or the government are generous, it's our money. We have to get involved to see how we spend it. So it's a great thing that the National Lottery, or we as a collection of people who've ever entered the National Lottery, have been able to contribute. So of course access is imperative.
Yeah, so that's all,
brilliant.
But we're just growing so fast, and we're hoping to take on more paid staff shortly, which is brilliant, which is also being funded by another charitable trust. It's growing massively, and it's beyond my expectations. 2 years ago when we first looked at that site, I thought would be lucky to buy Hazen. It cost about £330,000 plus, and I've done fundraising in the past, but I've never ever tried to do that. And Nikki Jones has been key to all this, because she's been very dynamic, and she's been in the right places at the right time, and one thing led to another, and we had one donation that put us over the £200,000 fundraising mark, which then brought the National Lottery in, which took us to the amount we needed. And it's just going on. And people, the general public, have been amazing. Yeah. From the crowdfund that we first did, that raised the first £20,000-30,000 to now, people have been ringing us up and saying, can I give you, the other day we had £20,000 from one individual, and the week before we had another 15 from somewhere else. I'm being blown away. People want this to happen.
Absolutely, which is why I'm saying, when people get together and realise that we no more, we weren't able to legislate for the community that we've had, young people particularly, pre-pandemic. So the idea of building more houses, which is just is like this so out of tune with what's needed. Houses and roads are not what's needed, or HS2 is not what's needed. What's needed is an investment in our communities, our children particularly, our young people, their mental health, our collective mental health, to support teachers and educators, as well as the national health and all that sort of good stuff. But we need to be doing what you're doing, which is sitting at school looking out the window. That won't get you very far, whether you're in there or not. But getting involved, and it's people like yourself, and I can't wait to meet Nikki Jones and Susan, by the way, who I've been talking to.
Yes, of course, yeah. No, she's now.
This is just on the phone.
Yeah,
so I can only imagine what you people are like.
She only joined us in January, and she's been fantastic. She's amazing. It's a good addition to the team. She's our first paid member of staff.
Fantastic.
She's brilliant. So
fantastic.
And we're building. I mean, where we are going to be in 2 years' time, I could not tell you, because it's been such an incredible journey. It hasn't been an easy journey by any means, but it's worth it. Been amazing, and I think we're going in the right direction. People want to get the word out there. Go on our website, www.avonneedstrees.org.uk. We're looking for we've got people who are fundraising, just a few £100s. There's the lady in Seend who's dressing as a tree, and she's running around the Seend area in a couple of weeks' time for sponsored. We had one guy who rode along the Kent and Avon Canal from one end to the other. But every small thing, every step we make makes a big difference. So it's we're open to all ideas. And
what about getting Adamant to come and in his Wellingtons and do a rendition of Stand and Deliver to people who are visiting. So he's dressed as the old dandy highwayman, but he's also got a pair of Wellingtons, which have got the name of the organisation, and then he, with an old musket, robs people.
Well, it's one idea, isn't it?
I'm just saying, he's probably not doing anything at the moment. Adaman, I call to you, sir, to come and help these good people plant some trees or grow some trees. Right, okay, so we are going to tune in with you good people, because this is really important. We're looking to talk to lots of individuals from all different parts of communities. Everyone, I believe, has got their own story to tell. And I want to share that. We want to share that with as many people as possible, because a big part of what we do at Can Do Arts is community development. So up and down the country, working in, been at the Home Office, been at various places, talking about community cohesion. One of the massive aspects of that is the access to nature. So when we worked in Salford or Manchester, we brought young people down here. When we worked in London, we brought young people down here. We took them to Stonehenge, to National Trust places, Laycock, etc., into nature. It blows their minds. If people were to see the footage of a gang from London who got educational access with us to the stones at Stonehenge, it definitely put a whole new meaning of being stoned to them, trust me. They could not even explain what it was like, because they laid their foreheads on the big...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. Now, so from my perspective of working in the communities, now there's never been more of a time where everyone needs to get collectively, and not blaming people or shaming people. We need to get together and to prioritise what really is important to our survival, our collective survival. And trust me, without our mental health, our physical health will go quickly as well. So if we really want to protect the National Health Service, in a bizarre way, we need to take responsibility for all decisions made locally. This is one of them: the nature, the biodiversity, the clean air, everything else you can think of that goes along with that, but also about planning decisions and about our infrastructures and our priorities as a community and a society. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to say any more because I'm boring myself, and I do that quite often. Peter, you're a wonderful man.
Thank you, Ed. Nice to meet you at last.
It's an absolute pleasure. Can we tune in whenever you want? Can you just say, "Oh, we've got some stuff." We're going to be talking to different people from the organisation, and we will come back to you, or you come back to us when you've got progress. And I'm visiting the site.
Yeah, definitely.
So we want to do a whole load of filming there, and we want to put it out on your website as well as our own to say, well done. Thank you so much. I was going to shake hands.
Well, we can do that, can't we?
Wow.
You play guitar and I do piano.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Hope Springs Eternal. I keep forgetting the Hope Springs Eternal thing in Malmesbury. There's a songwriting competition. Why don't you do that?
Wow, there you go.
Well, no, seriously, why don't we do it?
Well, we can, yeah.
You know we do an open mic every Wednesday. It's a virtual.
Yes.
Right. Why don't you submit to that? We can do,
absolutely,
and then we can put a load of stuff about Avon Needs Trees and anything else you want to put in there.
Wow.
Get young people as an outlet for them. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Ed,
hello.
Definitely.
Hey. Whoa, good. Let's finish that before we keep going. Nice one. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Maya. Excellent.
Next up on the S.H.O.P podcast, we have an interview with Lindsay Elliott, who's a singer, musician, pub owner, and dog owner. Stay tuned.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything other than welcome to whatever edition of the Social Hub of Positivity this is. I'm particularly pleased this fine day, this fine part of my life, to be introducing a lovely chap who I've known for some time now, and a lot of you people out there will know. You'll know him as a musician, Lindsay Elliott, as a fine musician, and we're going to cut some of his wonderful stuff into this. But certainly a whole group of people around Chippenham will know Lindsay for being the wonderful owner of the Old Road Tavern, the Tav, the Frog and Road, the Toad, the Smode, La Mogador, I don't know what it's called anymore. But Lindsay,
thank you for having me.
Oh mate,
it's a pleasure. Here. Thank you very much.
Tell me, sir, how's it been going? What has lockdown been like for you?
It's been lonely. I've really missed everybody.
You kidding?
No, absolutely.
I've been banging on your door at that pub every day. Just in case.
The pumps are off.
I mean, just make sure you're okay. There's nothing to do with alcohol. I'd never do that.
It's been okay. Well, winter's been long, but it feels like there's a sign of spring in the air.
Wait a minute. Isn't that George Formby? Oh God, it was George Harrison. What's the matter with you? He's Billy Bragg's son. He doesn't even know any music. Anyway, listen. I can't believe it. I can't believe that you've been lonely, mate, because I would come and throw things at your window, if nothing, just so you knew there were people that cared about you. How's the dog? How's the beautiful dog? Leonard.
He's good.
God bless him.
Yeah.
He is gorgeous.
He's lonely at the minute.
Can we put a photograph of him up here just so that
Please
people...
do.
Yeah,
Please
so
do.
people realise what I'm talking about. Yeah? This dog, he's got the looks, he's got the personality, and he writes and sings better songs than I do. So he's closer to Leonard Cohen than I'll ever be.
He misses everybody. He misses other dogs.
I bet.
And the fuss.
Yeah.
So we now walk 5 times a day instead of 2, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those, but
Was there a better time to have a dog?
absolutely not.
So how old is he now? You've had him for a while now, haven't you?
He'll be 3 next month. And
Right, yeah.
every single day we go for an adventure. And
Yeah.
that's... you know,
Yeah, I saw him driving that getaway car the other day. Scooby-Doo, everyone, Scooby-Doo. Okay, Leonard's okay. I'm sad to hear that you've been lonely.
Well, I
because
think
it's
I'm
such a-
speaking, you know, everybody's been lonely, you know.
I've got no friends, so I don't know what lonely
I'm
is.
lucky in a way
I
that,
don't know
you
what
know...
not lonely is. Well, you're lucky in the way this. I get it. You are normally, to be fair, for anyone that doesn't know, then this obviously goes out right across wherever. Lots of people from Ireland and I see lots. Listen to me, Croatia and everyone that see it. If you ever come to Chippenham, you have to make your way to this fantastic. I'm not even going to call it boozy. It's actually it's as much a social hub as this place is.
Yeah.
There's the fabulous Winkle Club, which again is an organisation of the community, of people who partake of the magic of the Old Road Tavern, and they've for years been raising money as a community to give to the community. And I just want to say thanks to anyone that's ever been involved in that, because Can Do Arts have been recipients and have been able to take young people from Chippenham on summer residentials because of the Winkle Club. But that's just one small element. Now, I have a very good friend who, when she comes to Chippenham, and I'm not going to say who that friend is, but she always likes to make a special beeline for your boozer. It's not just the fantastic Guinness. I'm not promoting Guinness because I'm Irish, because that'd just be wrong.
Yeah.
But you do happen to do a particularly good Guinness in there.
We sell a lot of it, and I think
Mate,
that's the key.
Yeah, but
Keep the pipes moving.
Yeah, keep the pipes moving, and you also have guest bitters,
Which has been tough on my own for all these months, you know. That's a lot of Guinness.
Again, you have my phone number. I mean, we're key workers. We have to go out in the community. We're community development workers, and we've been here. If you've seen some of the dark side of what we've seen because of the work we do, you go, this guy deserves a Guinness. But as you can see, I've already had too many. So, obviously, financially, economically, it could potentially be disaster. But what is it looking like? What is the horizon? What is your future, or the future of
We're
that
strong.
one place?
We're a strong community.
Yes.
Hub.
Yeah, you loved it.
And for the majority of the lockdowns, it's been positive.
Yeah.
Fairly positive.
Yeah.
But, you know, the levee's broke a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it has to. I think it's natural. But the point is we're becoming stronger.
Yeah.
So, and I think now, like I say, the sign of spring, the news on the horizon, you inviting me here, this is positive.
Yes.
So this is from negative to positive, and it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's only fair, because to be fair, we have done so many community projects with you guys. The cabaret, the mural, when we did that whole. In fact, that was the 21st. You know, that was again one of our 21st of June.
It was a solstice thing.
Yeah. Which is why we wanted to do it. And again, I said on the radio yesterday, it was the yesterday, obviously, when you see this, might have been any day, it doesn't matter. But anyway, speaking to those wonderful people at BBC Wilts about the special day being 21st of, if you remember, you all, God, I love you, you know. You also did the gig for us at the Neald Hall when we did...
Which was the winter solstice.
Which is winter solstice.
Which is my birthday.
This was can you remember, there was loads of people at it. That's brilliant, thank you for that. Because that's the other side of it. Creatively, you know, for the open mic, when you did the piano, beautiful, when you're on your own, completely on your own.
Yeah.
horizons. There's something I would like you to see, and no one's showing you but me. If we return, we'll dance and we'll celebrate, and nobody can sing like you and me. He's got something to say. He's never sure how you take. He thinks that the speech was given a man to hide his thoughts. When he played his cards nice, but time wasn't so kind to him. The Jack of Hearts would surely have his day. He couldn't see faults, he's on his knees to pray. But there'll be nobody listening. There'll be nothing on your mind. Now we're all grown up and down on luck. For twisting the tail, let's try. Don't cut the ground from under one, or down along the dead man let us lie. Lie in love.
Fantastic, and then it was very deep. You're fantastic. Anyone that doesn't know Lindsay Elliott as a musician, please check him out. How can people check you out? Actually, have you got a?
That's a good question.
Well, if you come through Can Do.
Down the byway, I can see the stones piled high. Traveling families making tea by firelight, and it's beautiful, like consciousness streaming, like an old familiar feeling, but a good one. On the way in, I stopped by a prison full I shall pass the empty school. This is Sunday, and this is my way to cut loose a little while, to find a house to sit and to write my song down. And the rainbow in welcomes me in. The rainbow in got me thinking. If and you don't know me yet, it's not your fault, 'cause I'm still learning about myself. Being released from shackles of freedom, an open book of pushing my luck, walks in the park. I'm being appeased. Life is not all but a dream. This is real, what's the deal? Careful, you might just feel something. Rainbow in, wash away my sins. The rainbow in, it's got me drinking. And if you care for me, just leave it be. I'm fighting this one myself. I'm heading home to the pub of my own, where I welcome a stranger in, just like at the Rainbow Inn. And it's amazing, the whole world turns on a pin. You buy a Lane Stonehenge cigarettes at the Rainbow Inn. When I get back, we'll have the crack. I was right, but girl, I've been wrong. 'Cause the rainbow in, it got me thinking how much I love your song.
Come to this gig, which we'll get onto in a minute, because that gig, the Unlock Reset Community Festival, will of course have the Old Road as a featured venue, but you do so many things in there, we don't even know what it is we're going to do, because again, who's available, what we're doing, but we know we've got films we can project, we know we've got loads of poets, we know we've got, you run the best open mic in, I was going to say in the country, but as you know, I was inspired to open the first open mic because I saw the one in Hull. Yeah. So that's what. So I would have to not say any of us have the best one anymore or at all, but it's certainly a brilliant one and people love it. So are you thinking about on that day we can do an open mic as well, couldn't we?
We can do everything.
Everything. That's what I'm saying, people. That's what we need. This is the attitude you need.
It all goes to plan.
Of course it does. But here's what we're going to do if it doesn't.
We'll do it anyway.
That's it. Well, no, we're not. Just in case Boris and I go, hey, wait a minute. I mean, Christ, what do you say?
You guys, you some sort of rebels or something? I mean, it's bad enough, I got my mates travelling up the end of the country, doing stunt driving with the kids in the car, and then all of a sudden, Lindsay Elliott's opening pubs willy-nilly and putting on festivals. I mean, on the 21st of June, why did he think he could do that? You're right. We won't put it on illegally for anyone that's looking. What we will do is we'll do it virtually. Not nearly do it, as in we'll do it in the ether. We'll do it how you're seeing this. We'll do it over or you might be listening to this on Spotify. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way, we're going to do something to keep the community focused and looking at the positive elements that we can all... And for those who are hard of hearing, I didn't say elephants because that would be ridiculous. Well, you got positive elephants. You've got positive elephants in Cheltenham. I ain't coming there, mate. I don't like elephants. Wow, you're an elephantitis. So, here's the crack. One way or the other.
I've missed you.
I've missed you. I've missed you and the Guinness. Actually, to be fair, I have a mixture of drinks there. Not mix my drinks. You do fantastic. I have to keep going back to the thing because it's so long we've all been in the pubs. Yeah. There are people out there now who know your pub and go, absolutely get it. People will now be thinking, wait a minute, I'm going to check out the old road and then see all the amazing things you guys do, right? And then they're going to come in and then they're going to do this. They're going to check out all your guest ales and what have you. It is quite a unique pub. Quite unique. I know that friends of mine from London have made excuses. This is embarrassing to think. Have made excuses to come and see me. And then all of a sudden it's like, can we go to, And it's like, oh, I know what it is. Yeah. And there's a few of them. Which
nice to see you, Ed.
Yeah. Can we go to your boozer? Yeah. Now, it's a beautiful social hub, and you do all sorts of great stuff. You yourself, as I say, are a fantastic musician, and you've collaborated with all sorts. Are you in a band scenario at the moment? Not practicing or whatever. Is there a conflagration? That ain't even a thing, mate. That ain't even a thing. Conflagration.
But we know what you mean.
But I think we're right. Is there a group scenario for you at the moment?
There isn't, but I think now that we have a date to work towards, and that you phoned me when I was on Cheryl with my dog yesterday.
God bless Cheryl. How is she, by the way? He meant the hill. I meant the hill as well. Okay.
We can edit that, yeah.
Cheryl, no, I'm not editing nothing. I'm not editing nothing. You know why? Because I don't know how to do it. Yeah, and they like to see me struggle. Right, Louis, thanks a lot, mate.
I would like to start a project for this. Yeah. I mean, I have songs.
Yeah, mate.
And
I'm not even blowing anything.
I know
up
musicians.
here.
I just haven't been able to see them.
Yeah.
But if we can squeeze in a few rehearsals.
You've got some fantastic solo stuff. I'm not putting you in the band because you sometimes are in 2 or 3 bands at the same time at the same gig. For instance, where did you go with some of our lunatic mates? A very big foreign country to do what was it? Come on, tell that story.
I went to Panama.
Yes, you did.
I stood in for Miggles, who was having a baby.
Well, if you see Miggles, you realise
having a baby.
I thought there was something strange about that statement, but yeah.
So he had a good excuse. So I got the call from Emma. She said, we've got this once in a lifetime opportunity to play a gig in Middle America, in Panama, sort of half in the jungle, half on an idyllic beach. Do you want to come? Yes, was the answer.
Yeah.
I had to pay for my flights, but I got very well looked after there.
Yeah.
I got fed and watered.
Yeah. What was the event called?
Tribal Gathering.
Yes, which is absolutely a world known event.
So that was 18 days long, I believe. Yeah. I mean, I could do, I think, 8 days, and then I had to get out of there. but
it was 8 days linked. So
yeah,
straight through.
Yeah,
pretty much so.
And the tents are hot in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're talking 6 in the morning, and if you didn't go to bed till 3, after 8 days, you need to go somewhere else.
And the nights are just intense, right? Really intense. And when it all kicks in, that's why you end up on the beach. You start over here, you end up on the beach. It's a great thing. I don't know anything about that. Gorm had a good time.
He did.
Has he landed yet? Has he landed yet?
I don't know if he has got a home, actually.
Bless him. Brilliant band. Are they still together? What was that? That was the Hat Club, wasn't it?
I think they disbanded.
Again, see? Little capsules of time. Capsules? Don't know if that even looks like a capsule. Okay. It's a little thing of time, a little smidgen, a little of time to see that because you've been in some fantastic bands, so to be able to witness people
doing their thing. And it's so sad that for so long people haven't been able to, not just musicians, all sorts of creative people, also just people. So, for the event, you may well have a band, but you'll definitely be a solo artist for that.
I'll play a set of my songs, and there'll be a couple of
Right.
guest musicians. So there'll be Frank the fiddler.
Oh my God, you get Frank to do it. Frank, if you're listening, okay, you're actually one of my neighbours, and I'm going to have to sort of call territorial claims on you. He's never once, they did do a can-do thing over at Laycock, to be fair, when we did the National Trust thing.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get him. Maybe I should open a bar. Yeah. Can I get in partnership with you to make micro beers?
Just to get hold of Frank.
To get hold of Frank. Seriously, if you ever ask and say, in terms of Ed trying to get you to do it, he'll probably go, well,
By the way, I haven't asked Frank yet. I'm just.
well, he probably won't be watching.
He'll see this.
Of course he will. He'll be tuned in like everyone else.
So 21st of June, Frank.
Yeah, 21st of June. Oh, yeah, he's amazing. You yourself and the people that you associate yourself musically, Son, Garraway, God, it goes on, Jonah. There's absolutely Ed.
And it's a Monday. And
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
think we've ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest ever party on a Monday.
Yeah,
It's going to be the biggest ever party.
yeah. Just to be sort of, I don't know, to be creative. Maybe we should get the Boonton Rats to sing "I Don't Like Mondays," just to be sort of a counterpoint. Hey man, we're on a Monday situation. We've got an unlock situation. We've got people singing, people hugging. Some people are hugging, and now we've got Bob Gelder saying, "Come on up, look in reference, spend the money. Tell me why I don't like Mondays." Don't know, Bob. Is it because you're lazy?
I actually had a message last night from Pirate Tom, who's one of my locals,
Please have Bob
and a
Gelder.
good friend of mine actually. And he said, was it okay to pitch a tent for the week? He's taking the week off work. I just think that's nice.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean this week or when the thing?
Well, not this week.
I was going to say,
That'd be high
where are
illegal.
you? Yeah, where are you? In the car park from my house. Yeah. You mean for the week of that?
Yeah,
Lovely idea.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
shame there's not more space at mine, but there's space in other spaces.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good idea. That in the event that by this stage, that it looks like definitely everything's going forward. That's something maybe we need to consider.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get people coming from different areas playing as well.
So I guess because my work stopped completely, and it has done for so long, but other people, they're working from home, which might seem like a luxury to begin with, but the novelty wears off and it becomes pretty a hard thing for them to do.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be a lot of people taking some holiday around that time.
Yeah. Well, it's hopefully that they can, and that's the two sides of this thing, isn't it? You've got the people that have been able to work, albeit, you know, and I think that will change. I don't think as many people go back to offices anyway. I think this is going to be set in people's psyche forever. Unfortunately, more so for young people. The knock to their development emotionally, physically sometimes, is going to be profound. There's going to be a tsunami of mental health scenarios, not just from young people, the ones that had pre-existing conditions, but people will have had a relationship with mental health they've never had before, and little or no help to be able to, not because people don't want to help them, to be able to access, because we can't, people are gregarious animals, we need and want to be together mostly. So the idea of even just being able to talk face to face is unfortunately it's been curtailed, shall we say. However,
But let's hope we can have that bustling
that's what I'm saying. Well,
bar situation where people are leaning on the bar.
Well,
telling
do you know what? I have
stories,
to say that during the time when, of course, in your glorious beer garden, there's wonderful colleagues of yours coming to the table with the order. I have to say, I loved it quite a lot. When you come and say, "Hey, old chap, can I get you a beer?" And I didn't realise that you were putting on a tab and had to pay, but that you were going and they were being delivered. I think that's something we should never change. In fact, if you could possibly deliver to my house on the occasions I can't be bothered, that'd be really handy.
Yeah.
That was. What do you think about that? The idea of the delivery to that's not going to happen, is it?
The table service.
Yeah. Look at your face now. I can see. I know a few of your colleagues are thinking.
I think as bar people,
Yeah. Yeah.
we do miss that kind of congregation, that ceremony, or you're at the pub and you meet strangers.
Yes.
And you chat to people.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you share stories and stuff. when you've got to sit on a table 6 with the people you come in with, you get less of that. But you know, it's needs must, and we've done it. We've jumped that hurdle, and we will do it again if we have to.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I'm sure will happen to begin with, but maybe by June or beyond, we'll be able to go back to how we were.
Yeah, only in those ways, because the whole idea of this reset is because so many elements of society just cannot reset. Environmentally, the climate, this idea about, I don't know if you've seen the Chippenham plans, building what will be unnecessary houses, distributor rate. Louis bored of me saying this, but I don't know when there's a better time in the world to put it out there that through my experience around sustainable development, the idea of all this unnecessary building at this moment, when in fact we should be focusing on people's well-being mentally. I don't know if I've got that through to you too. Oh, come back! I said come back! But, so certain things definitely go back to what they were, the positive bits, but the bits that weren't working, and there's plenty of them. Some of that will involve how people work, where they work. Some of it will be about society's priorities. In other words, things that we held dear, or we were told to hold dear before, HS2, all crazy stuff like that. Oh really? And why would people in a country which is now going to be struggling environmentally and economically be wanting to travel faster to do nothing? Because the economy will need to be localised, it will be locally sourced food, locally sourced as much as you can. I think that's really important. When we've had unlocks, I've only tried to use, and I'm not exaggerating, of course we've had stuff delivered when we can't get it locally, but I've tried where, and there'll be shopkeepers and people go, yeah, that's fair, Ed has actually made sure that he's come in and given me his business. As you know, I didn't really want to drink all those beers when you were on lock that time. You remember how you had said, Ed, and I said, look, okay, if it's going to help you, if it's going to help you, I'll drink one more. Okay, Lindsay, Christ, I wouldn't normally do this. I'm quite shy, and I've got my figure to watch. Or is it my figure to wash? Maybe I should shower more. Anyhow, are you going to, I couldn't understand, can you just answer me this one thing? You know when there was that brilliant idea that if you had a Scotch egg, plant-based one for me, a Scotch egg, you could have a beer. Why didn't you didn't open again?
No, and that was the hardest decision to make. But I went with it, and in hindsight, I'm glad I did, because it would have meant more stock lost and stuff, because it was only for a few weeks, wasn't it? And then we were locked down. But, I tried, and I was just so concerned that all the other pubs in town would be open but us, but luckily they weren't. It was, I wasn't looking forward to those moments of explaining to maybe an elderly gentleman that's drunk in my pub for his whole life that he couldn't have his pint of ale unless he bought some food, and he said, well, I'm going home for my tea later.
Well, give me the food.
Give me the food.
See, what
to be honest, I think it just goes against what my pub is. We're a watering hole. Yeah. We're a back road boozer full of great ideas shared and great art. And to turn it into a restaurant was just pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, I think I would have stretched the envelope in a different way. I would have done this. Okay. You know the wonderful minis?
Yes.
Right. So I would have got them to make really beautiful, because let's face it, they are fantastic food, right? Really good, plant-based, I have to insist, for the environment and for the well-being of all mankind and the animals. A little Scotch egg type of thing, right? Yeah. That you got given with every drink. Now, what you did with that, if you were clever, you wouldn't go home for your tea, because Mike Minnie's food is exceptional. Yeah. But we could have collected them. We could have given them to Leonard, or we could have put them around to my house. But I just think there was a slight. I understand what you're saying.
With sacks of Scotch eggs.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, that's how ludicrous that is.
Do you know how ludicrous most of this whole scenario has been? Now, I can't blame Boris Johnson, because unfortunately he was sent away as a child and probably never recovered. And their effects, and particularly if you go to a sort of a private school and you're dislocated from reality, you probably aren't very good at going, what do we need to do? I was planning to just give my mates some contracts to build stuff, and now they're expecting me to do something which looks quite dangerous. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around and visit as many people as I can and shake their hands. No, Boris. No, my lovely lad. No, my lovely boy. Keep away. Stop touching people. Stop touching them.
They're on top of the me just thinking it was a ludicrous thing to do.
Yeah, it's
There,
hard.
there was background financial stuff
Yeah.
that would have shifted things,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
just
man,
by
yeah.
reopening.
Yeah, I was just being selfish.
You lose a percentage of the grant, and
Of
then,
course.
and then you take everyone off furlough.
That's it.
You've
And then
got
you have to pay everything. I know.
for a pub that's
Yes.
a quarter full.
Yes.
So
Yeah, no, I tell you, I was possibly
Yeah.
being a little bit selfish there, because two of the things I could have had there was Mike Minnie's food,
yeah,
yeah, and your lovely boozy. Do you see where I was going?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's just in
which
case
is
you
why
thought-
it was so difficult,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to upset everybody, but
Oh, but you could
as I
accept
say,
me from a distance.
in the end it was the right decision,
Yeah.
because it was a few weeks, and I would have had another cellar full of beer
Full of beer, yeah.
that I've got to drink.
Yeah. So, when will you know? What will it need? What sort of information would you need from the government or anyone else, for that matter, to restock, restoke, and refire up your engines to get to open the boozer? When you think you're going to know?
Well, we've got the map now, which is important.
Yeah.
And because before the map, it was like, what is going on? Is this just life now?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And it was really bringing me down. But to have this map set out, I've got something to aim for. I will need probably 2 weeks before that date just to know that it's definitely going to happen. And then I order my beer in.
Okay.
And if something happens in the meantime, I'll just refuse the delivery and denial knowledge. But I didn't order that.
Have the landlords and the breweries been fair? Have they been supportive? What's that sort of been like?
I wouldn't say it's all doom and gloom. I mean, I did certainly have to pay, you know, rent, but then to a pub company that's got thousands and thousands of pubs, if every one of them stops paying some sort of percentage of rent, then I guess they go under, and then my partnership wouldn't be there. So I don't really, I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
it's been a tough old road. But,
Tough old road. Sorry.
But I like to maintain a healthy relationship with my partnership with the brewery.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course.
And really, it was such an unprecedented situation. They were trying to do
Yeah.
their best.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to do their best.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely, and we've seen how some people's best resulted in over 100,000 people dying. But you know,
Yeah.
some people's best is
Yeah.
different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bless them. Anyhow, so any time that you know, as soon as you know you're going to put it out, then we'll definitely put it out that that's opening. We'll do what we can to get the 21st people that specifically we know that you utilise the old road as artists, and it is artists as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's poets, there's photographers. Tom about still.
yeah, comedy.
Comedy, music, of course, but all manner, isn't
Yeah.
there? That's the fantastic thing about the old road. Is there are all manner of interesting people
Yeah.
for all different demographics, all different age groups.
And they all seem to
I'm
get on.
500. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, that's not weird. There's a recipe there,
Yeah.
which you guys are embroidering throughout it. You know, even your pool room is an art gallery in a way, isn't it? It's like it's quite interesting. It's local artists. Well, Harriet, as you can see, we liked your brand so much, sir.
Yeah.
We got Harriet to do the front cover for Mel C's single, which is not a bad thing, is it? She's a lovely thing. And this here again, local artist. This is Alex Moran Stroke Walker's. This is the workshop piece, because this, when we open, we're going to have art workshops, and you know that all her lovely exhibitions there.
Yeah.
So you're busy, because I was asking on this thing, what's the first thing you're going to do once the lockdown opens? And the amount of people that said, find me and kill me, I thought is unfriendly and unnecessary, because it was mainly these two here. It was mainly, and if he's listening, Ashley, your son Louis is getting very aggressive behind that mask. I know what he's thinking, because I can see it twitching. I can just almost lip read the hateful words coming out of his mouth. I'm only joking. I'm not joking. Right. What is the first thing you're going to do besides open the pub? Besides the thing, what do you want to do? What's the thing? What do you want to do?
I'd like to go to the pub. With my friends.
Okay. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The owner of one of the best pubs in Chippenham, Wiltshire, wants to go to a pub. Do you mean your own pub, or do you mean someone else's
Well,
pub?
just one where there's people.
Okay. Okay.
Preferably
unusual.
mine. I'll just come downstairs. That's all
Yeah.
I want to do. Get downstairs.
Yeah, can see people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gigs. I'm a prolific gig. I go to
I
gigs
know.
all the time. Sometimes 2 a week. You know. And
Yeah. And you put on brilliant gigs.
Yeah.
You put on fantastic. Anyone that hasn't checked this out, if you like live music, and it's every sort of music,
have your French sessions. You have your.
I like how they're top of the list.
Yeah, no, but they are. It's such high. It's too hard to explain. I know why my mates from London come to your boozer.
Yeah.
Because on any random evening, you can have fantastic folk instrumentalists practicing or doing a session, but it's an informal thing where they're just doing it. Blah, blah, blah. That's been going on for years. Beautiful. You have the French evenings, you have the dancers, you have the it goes on, and it's like, how big is it? Would you say the whole space that you've got to, including the wonderful garden? How big is it?
What, in feet? I'm not
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's not that big.
It's not that big.
Always packed. It's big enough to have a comfortable time.
Yeah.
But the gigs, the bar,
The garden is
phenomenal. Isn't
yeah,
it?
it's phenomenal, and that might work in our favour come April. You know.
Oh yeah, crikey, mate! I was going to say, yeah.
I actually stayed up late last night buying fairy lights and uplighting for the trees. I want to make it the most ethereal experience. It's already an ethereal experience, but I want to make it. I want people to come back and go, "Wow!"
Well,
Do you know?
yeah,
and
okay.
feel
Well.
special themselves. So that's my plan.
I'm rolling my hands now. Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so there'll be a relaunch hopefully before April, before June anyway,
June.
so we can start eliciting support from your great community to do stuff, because we're going to have hopefully. All things being equal, with great support of Chippenham Town Council and stuff. There's some great people. I've got to say it. People, you hear me. I'll criticise things when I think they need to be criticised, but I also want to praise and big up the good bits that are going on. There are fantastic. Look at the bits that we can be really, really proud of in our community, right? Look at the areas of our town. Just if you're Chippenham, around the areas, all the different towns around Wiltshire, we're blessed. I don't know who by, because anyway, that's another story. But we have great facilities, so we could potentially have the wonderful John Coles Park, all sorts of, because it's a school day as well, so we want to do workshops for primary school children to do all sorts of nature trails around the park, nature bingo. We talked to the wonderful Will Tidmarsh, who's a really brilliant community member. We always talk. If there's any issues or non-issues, talk to him and his staff. They ask me, we'll walk through. We can talk about anything and try and get things resolved. Get a lot of good support around that. Monkton Park and various venues, yours being one of the key venues. So, everybody, this is the wonderful Lindsay Elliott. I was going to say straight minute, great musician, a great, sorry, all right, Lillian, see, he's dying to turn the camera off, and rightly so, yeah, rightly so. A great musician, a great hostilier. That's not right. I keep forgetting the words now. I think either
That's one word that could be
yeah,
two
it's just
things.
wrong, isn't it? Let's just say owner of a great boozer, community boozer, and a fantastic musician. So on any level that I've said musician twice, but it's worth checking out twice. A great place, and I'm so glad to see you, buddy.
Yeah, no, thank
I'm
you for
looking
inviting me
forward-
down.
Oh, you're joking.
I needed it, man.
I needed
And
it.
so
It's
nice
funny,
to
I've
come
been
and see
thinking about
this
you.
place.
Yeah, bless. So let's hope everyone else can check out the Social Hub of Positivity. Ladies and gentlemen, keep safe, keep positive, and keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, just another